One thing you said there is don't make it weird. How hard is that to do? There are lots of coaches out there who are great X's and O's guys who may just not really care about relationships.
Yeah.
What can they do to start building those relationships? What's one thing that they can do to not make it weird when they're trying to invest in a player?
Yeah, I think I would start by saying probably every coach is a great X's and O's guy. They know the game, right? They're not, these coaches, especially at the collegiate level and pro level, they're in position because they understand the game, right? As fans, we tend to like think coaches aren't very smart because they lose, whatever. It's like, they're not losing because of lack of intelligence of the game, right? They're masters of their sport. They lose because of the connection, right? Their inability to connect with people, to get people in the right position, moving in the same direction, building relationships, building trust. And to your point, a lot of coaches like that can seem weird. They're not wired to be overly relational, right? It's like they're wired to get work done. They're wired to focus on the process, to be task oriented. And there's a pressure in our culture. We're such a results-oriented culture that makes the task that much more important, right? We are judged by our winning and our losing, not in our relationships. But if we invest in the relationship, we will get the winning, right? And so we feel like if we just, we have a tool we use all the time, the 5 components of a high-performing team. And 2 of those components are alignment and execution. And we always focus on execution. If we can just tweak the system and get better facilities or whatever, technology or equipment, then we'll be better. No, you need better relationships. Right? If you invest in communication and relationships, those are the key components of that flywheel. Communication and relationships drive alignment and execution. And so for a coach or a leader who's listening to this, it's not that you don't care about relationships, because I think we all care about relationships. Some of us are just better at that than others, right? We're wired to be better with people, to be better in conversation. I think, that's okay. Doesn't make you a bad leader, doesn't make you a weak person, doesn't mean you don't care. You're just wired to operate in a different way. So I think 1, knowing yourself, understanding I'm not naturally wired to think about people first. That doesn't mean I can't connect with people. And so I think it's learning how you operate, increasing your level of self-awareness, and then realizing if I want to win, it actually requires me to connect with people. So realize your ability to connect is a competitive advantage. Like the leaders of the future will win because they can connect. And so to make time for those relationships and to say it may be awkward at first, like anything else, you get better with practice. And have a healthy expectation for yourself. Like let's say certain personalities. So if you've watched any of our personality stuff, you know the 5 voices. A guardian, for example, may not be great at relationships. Doesn't mean they don't care about people. They're just more focused on the data, on the process, on the tasks, on getting things done. Well, they can't expect to be an 8 or 9 out of 10 in relationships, right? If they're naturally, let's just say they're a 2 or 3. To say I'm gonna be a 9, well, that's a burden. But to say, I don't need to be a 9, can I get to a 5? Then what would happen to my influence? If I can just get a little bit better at connecting with people. So having a healthy expectation, but then realizing the more you do it, the better you get. It's like anything else, right? We know all these things. We know you didn't become a good coach overnight. You didn't become a good player overnight. You practiced, you kept showing up, you kept doing the work, and gradually you got more comfortable with that. Same thing with relationships. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And it's awkward because sport, you practice in private. Right? You're on the practice field of the court and you can screw up all the time because you're preparing for the game when you can execute at a high level. With relationships, you're practicing in real time, right? There's no chance to get it right so you can go get on the field. It's like we're practicing in real time with real people and there's consequences to that. So to take the fear away from that and just say, hey, this is part of growth. If I want to actually be a leader, if I want to actually perform at a high level and have our team perform at a high level, I have to do this and I have to get better at it and then believe that you can do it.
I think a lot of that is detailed really well in your book, Keep Chopping Wood.
Great book, by the way. I highly recommend it.
Available now on Amazon.com.
Available at all major bookstores. That's not true. Just Amazon.
Available only on Amazon.